Buffs Nation, what's going on? We got 3 new players. We still have 24 spots to fill. I'll touch on that as we go on in this video. But first and foremost, I wanted to start out by saying rest in peace to Jerry Springer. Truly one of the iconic American showmen, one of the greatest entertainers in my generation, and he will be missed. So that got me thinking, and I'm going somewhere with this, Buffs fans, and hit that like while I'm talking. But I hope that you'll appreciate where I'm going with this. But that got me thinking of some days throughout my life where some sort of tragedy or bad news has happened, and I remember where I was. I remember a lot about that day. There are very few days outside of friends and family, things personal to me, where I remember like that. One of them, of course, as I'm sure it was for many of you, was 9/11. I was in the 3rd grade. I was about 9 years old. I remember everything about our teacher coming in, panicking, crying, breaking down, them sending us home from school early, watching it all just unfold again and again and again on TV the rest of the day, seeing the people jump out of the buildings. It was terrible, and it is something that I'll never forget. And then I feel like my mom played God Bless the USA in the car like every day for like the next 6 months. So that was one of those days. But the other one, which is pretty peculiar or interesting, was Kobe Bryant, actually, just a few years ago. And what's very weird is that I've been a fan of other athletes. I followed other athletes closer than Kobe Bryant, but none of them really moved me the way that Kobe Bryant's did. I wasn't even a fan of Kobe Bryant growing up, because like things are more black and white when you're a kid. I was growing up a fan of the Bulls and the Nuggets. It's like, obviously we hate the Lakers, so if you're on the Lakers, that means I hate you. I hate any Lakers player. If you leave my team, I'll hate you, that type of thing. And I think when Kobe Bryant passed away, of course, there was so much tragedy involved in that, but for me, it was kind of an eye-opener in a sense of that I was kind of disappointed. I think of myself that I think like sometimes I let my fanhood when I was younger get in the way of just truly appreciating like human flourishing. Like, of course, I would root against Kobe Bryant when he would play my teams, but I think I did rob myself of not exactly being like a diehard fan of his, but also like not allowing myself to appreciate the greatness that he brought to the table, both on and off the court, especially in retirement, seeing everything that he was doing. And I think that really has changed the way that I've approached sports since then. And really, because I love story, I love cheering for people. It's why I love movies. It's why I love certain TV shows, competition shows. I love finding people to root for. And I love finding people who are truly great and unique and wanting to be a part of celebrating that. So that's what makes this Coach Prime stuff all the more unique and special to me. I think I would be following it, of course. I followed it from afar at Jackson State casually. Was very interested in it. When I would see them on TV, of course, I'd be rooting for Jackson State, the Tigers. But it's still unreal to me that this is happening at my alma mater, that Deion Sanders is actually here, and not only coaching, but he's going about this rebuild like how I would growing up playing Madden 2004, where I would trade all my players away for draft picks, except I would make sure Michael Vick's on my team, and I would create the adult version of Pablo Sanchez from the Backyard Sports computer games, and I would have him rushing for 2,000 yards and 40 touchdowns in the season and all of that. But I was rebuilding. I was making drastic changes on my teams, and it's crazy to see this playing out like you would playing a video game as a child. And I think that's one of the things that's infectious about Prime, is that he does bring like this childlike energy and joy to everything that he does. And where I'm going with this, let me just wrap this up, is that whether you're a hater or you're skeptical of how Prime is doing this whole thing, whether you're a firm, full-on believer, fanboy of what Prime is doing at CU, or if you're just here not really sure what's going to happen, but you're highly fascinated, I think that we can all agree on that we all want to see how this plays out. We are all highly fascinated. We are all highly entertained. And I think no matter what angle you're coming from, I hope that there's at least a general level of appreciation for this moment. For as long as Prime is here at CU, there's general appreciation for what is happening right now, the craziness of it, the fast-pacedness of it, the unprecedented nature in which all this is unfolding. And let's appreciate this day by day, because Prime is truly one of those people like Babe Ruth they're going to be talking about 100 years from now. That's really it. So thank you for staying with me on that a little bit, but let's appreciate what's going on right now. We got 3 transfers in. Got some notes here. We got Chazz Wallace, 6'2", I want to say, 6'2", 295 pounds, coming at D-line. Don't know too much about him, but that's great that we're getting a little bit of beef on the defensive line. One guy I'm very excited for is Derrick McLendon, edge from Florida State. He's actually got 2 years of eligibility left, which is great. And in some of their biggest games last year, I mean, he really showed up against Florida. Obviously, big rival. 5 tackles, half a sack. You love to see that. Against Clemson, ranked number 4 at the time. 8 total tackles and a sack. Against Oklahoma, in the Cheez-It Bowl, 2 tackles. And he's already been part of a rebuild. I mean, Coach Norvell there, I mean, he took a Florida State program that was in, a bad state. And I believe, they had 10 wins last year, double-digit wins, Cheez-It Bowl, big victory over Oklahoma. So he's been a part of a turnaround already. He's going to be able to come in here and set the culture. And building on that, we're also getting another player from Florida State that's been a part of that as well, and that's Gant. Started out at safety. He was a top 50 recruit during his time coming out in 2019, I think it was. But he transitioned to linebacker, and you know that we definitely need a lot of linebackers. And it seems like the little that I've seen of him so far, it's great that we can have a linebacker that can get downhill, make that quick tackle, but also can play in pass coverage. And I think I am agreeing with some of y'all on my Jaden Milner-Jones video that I posted forever ago that he could, or he could model, Jaden Milner-Jones could model Brendan Gant in some respect. Maybe he might transition to linebacker at some point too. We'll have to see. But overall, 3 players that I'm very excited. I did want to point this out too, that both of these Florida State transfers, McLendon and Gant, they have 2 years of eligibility left as well. So these aren't transfers that are coming in just for 1 year. Even though they are graduate transfers, they're going to be able to really set the culture, instill some stability with this program, because that's something that I talked with some of y'all in the comments yesterday on as well, is stability now with this amount of turnover. I wish Taylor Upshaw stayed. I know that he was probably going to be more of a rotational edge or defensive end player. Coming from Michigan, I know he didn't get a lot of time, but he's still a higher level caliber player than what we've had at CU the last however many years. But at this point, that doesn't matter because we have only a handful of guys on this roster now from last year. Let me know in the comments what you think about these players, what you think their strengths are. That would be wonderful as well. I haven't been able to respond to every comment, but I do read every comment. And y'all's comments have been awesome. Let's keep it thoughtful. Let's keep it deep. Let's keep it respectful. Let's keep it fun. Let's have fun. So, until next time, Buffs Nation. Oh, and check out the Chazz interview that Life in Football is doing I'll link that in my description that's going on tonight. But until then, Buffs Nation, SKO Buffs and Jerry.